Ellen McCauley. I'm at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. And it gives me such pleasure to see people in the group winning awards and losing weight. And I look at our journey and I realize, because earlier what I said was, we all know. Like if I say to someone, too many carbs, they say, I know. You need to move more, I know. And one of the things I always found at Weight Watchers is, I loved it, and it's a great group. But when I would go and I'd stay for the meeting, they always talked about food, how to build a sandwich, or what kind of salad can you make. And what I really wanted to talk about was why. Why do I want to eat this? Why am I so stressed? Why am I so anxious? Why do I sometimes feel like I'm jumping out of my skin and just need a hot fudge sundae or 10 Michelob Ultras? Why? And I said, someday I want to start a weight loss group, and what we're going to talk about is why. Why I feel this way, why you feel this way. And it's different for all of us. What one person has might not be the same as what another person has. So there may be a weekly topic that you say, I really am not a stress eater. Most of us are. And just like I don't recommend a specific diet, I don't tell people their experiences from their past. But guess what? We all have them, don't we? We are all right here, right now, a culmination of everything that happened to us from birth till now. And one of the things that I talked about a few years ago was the concept of shame and how it relates to our weight loss. And shame is kind of stepped out of hiding, because people talk about guilt. They talk about guilt all the time, but they really don't talk about shame. And shame is really emerging as a master emotion. And there's certain things that might be holding us back and that we're sabotaging ourselves, and we don't even realize it. Maybe we were told that we were worthless. Maybe we didn't receive the support and acceptance from other people in our lives or our families, so we don't feel we deserve success. We lose 20 pounds and then we gain back 30. And one of the things is, shame is the most difficult emotion to admit. And when I really thought about this topic, I realized so much of who I am today boils around shame. My older sister was born backwards and she had oxygen deprivation and she was slow. And back in the 60s, what they did was they called her a retard. And then because she was my older sister and there was me and there was May, we became the McCauley retards. Retard. I hear that word to this day. It sends shivers up my spine. And I think I spent so many years trying to prove that I wasn't a retard. That I wasn't. I'm going to get on the high honor roll. I'm going to work so hard. I'm going to try so hard. And because I was the middle child, I had to take care of my older sister. I had to take care of my younger sister. And it's just the way it was. I'm just telling you the facts, ma'am. I'm not complaining. And then my dad, I had a lot of shame about that too, because he was an alcoholic. And back in the day, everyone knew it. We lived on the worst house in the street. We had surplus food and public assistance. We were eating macaroni and the peanut butter that had all the oil on the top. No wonder we were fat. And another thing, I had so much shame about where I lived, but I loved them. I loved everybody. I loved my father. I loved my sister. I loved everyone. And yet the shame I felt was, it was kind of external, but not really internal. But when I ate, I felt better because I felt like, okay, I'm comforting myself because I'm trying so hard and working so hard. And those emotions, and you might look back, maybe you came to this country from another country and English isn't your first language. And maybe you have shame because you don't speak English as well as everybody else, and you're embarrassed to go out and say things because people don't understand you, they're not patient with you. Or maybe in your own family you have a child who maybe is on drugs. I've had friends who've lost a child to drug addiction. They have overdosed and they say, I feel such shame because I'm a bad parent because my child died from drug addiction. And I went to counseling once, and my counselor said something so beautiful to me. She said, when my son got on the dean's list at college, I was a wonderful parent. And when he got arrested for drunk driving, I was a bad parent, right? Is that the way it is? Do we have to say, does it validate who we are, someone else's behavior? You do the best you can. And it's taken me 67 years. I used to not think I did a good job at anything unless someone else told me I did. If someone else said, boy, Ellen, you did a good meeting there. Like if we go home in the car and I'll say to Bob, how did the meeting go? And he'd say, it was great. I'm like, okay, it was great. I couldn't think it for myself. I had to have that outer validation. And when you're putting yourself, and so many of you are sitting out there, and maybe you're thinking, you know, I didn't have that, Ellen, but my mom died when I was little, and I got a stepmom who just didn't treat me right, or my father hit me, Ellen. I know that feeling of shame. We all have something, and what we have to do is we have to come to terms with it. And we have to give each other the support we might not have gotten. And then comes the pandemic. You know, we come here every week, we get support. I had such a great outlet. I felt good about myself each week. We're doing this together. I'm helping people. I'm helping myself. And then we didn't have it for 18 months. I was so mad. I was mad. I didn't realize how mad I was. I was mad. Now, I could have done things. We could have set up Zoom meetings. I could have said, okay, let me weigh you in from a mile away. I didn't do anything because I was mad. And what good is being mad? Instead, I just had too many calories. And you know, a lot of things that shame will prove itself in is violence. There's a lot of violence in America now. And a lot of these people, if you look at the root of the causes, there's a lot of shame. There's a lot of shame in these hidden vendettas that go on forever. These ancient rivalries. I'm better than you. No, I'm not. You're better. And so many people who you look at and think they're a narcissist, basically, you think they love themselves. They actually have no self-worth. And they pretend. You can see these people because they lie, they exaggerate, they boast, they gossip. All those things are examples of this, you know. And another thing we do to validate our self-worth is with the busyness. I'm a valuable person. Look at all I did today. I wrote all this stuff down. I did it all. If I don't do anything, I feel so guilty. Is there anyone else like that? If I just sit there, I have to exercise when I read, because then I'm exercising, not just reading. And Bob had that kidney stone removal, and then the day after, we watched Netflix all day. It was one of the best days I've had in forever. And I could justify it because I was helping him because he had kidney stone. We have to justify it. Why? God said to rest on the seventh day, and we don't. And then we wonder why we're so stressed out, why we're so overeating. And you know, another thing is we overeat to compensate these demanding standards we put on ourselves. Do you ever notice that when I'm stressed, the things I say, I work so hard. I try so hard. See, even in those comments, it says so much about who I think I am as a person. If I work hard, if I try hard, that means I'm valuable. I am valuable in and of myself. God created me. God loves me just the way I am. Self-love. What I see from Miss Redhead, that I won't say her name on the blog, what I see in her that I didn't see the last time she was here is self-love. She's happier. I think when we say, you know, I got a lot of warts, I got maybe too many extra pounds, but I love myself. Do we love ourselves, everybody? Do we?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't hear that enthused. Some people are out there going, I'm okay. I can take myself or leave it. The thing is, too, we have to have a laugh at ourselves. We have to say, if we take ourselves so seriously, and I've told this story a million times, but I haven't told it in a long time, about laughing at yourselves. You know, I make it sound like my childhood was so difficult, and there were challenges, but we had a lot of laughs, and that's what saw us through. And you know, one of the neighbors, there's a lot of commercials on for Diet Right Cola, and then one of the neighbors, when my sister and I went walking by, he'd start singing the ad, but he'd change it and he would sing, "Who's drinking all that Diet Right Cola? All the McCauleys." And we thought it was the catchiest tune we ever heard. So we were singing it around the house, and my mother's like, "What are you singing?" And we told her, she goes, "He's making fun of you that we're fat and we're drinking Diet Right Cola." We didn't even know we were getting made fun of. But it's one of the funny stories. We laugh about it all the time. Now you guys are out there going, "It's really sad." I know, but we did laugh about it. We laughed about it because if you don't laugh about it, what are you going to do? You're going to cry about it. And I think that's one of the things about the past. We have to, and I'll do another meeting on this, let it go. I even taught everyone this motion. We need to let it go. My father had an illness. He did the best he could, and I love him. Let it go. I love my sister. They called us names. Don't kids do that anyway? They made fun of my son, Vincent. He was a handsome, athletic boy. He liked musical theater. You don't think he took some kidding about that? The names they called him because he liked to sing? Oh my gosh. It doesn't matter. People will make fun of you. Let it go. I'm going to stop right there, Bobby.